When the lockdown ended, Uncle Long looked like a deflated dumpling, almost enlightened. Concerned about his health, the warden kindly called in. After confirming he was fine, they finally let him go. Despite the ordeal, he managed to find a breakthrough inside. So he found Uncle Wa again and asked for a round metal piece. Uncle Wa thought he was joking and quickly turned him down. Unexpectedly, Uncle Long's next words were like a bomb, instantly changing his mind as he was hit by the temptation. Uncle Wa told Eugene of an escape, so he was taken to the interrogation room, personally received by the dear warden. However, here Uncle's attitude was like a chameleon. He withheld useful info and purposely changed the subject. Uncle Wa didn't mention the escape info, and the warden felt hugely insulted. He immediately ordered his men to teach this arrogant Uncle Wa. After Uncle Wa was forcefully thrown to the ground, Eugene crazily poured water into his mouth using a long hose, while the warden calmly checked his watch. Clearly, not first time using water torture. After a while, the warden leisurely ordered to stop as Uncle Wa barely breathed. Even so, he bravely pretended to fight back to take revenge on the warden, when in reality, he was sneakily stealing the drain cover. This clever ruse successfully fooled everyone, and the warden didn't notice a thing. So, Uncle Long got the metal cover. Seeing Uncle Wa dejected, he thought had suffered a lot. Uncle Long finally dropped his guard and unveiled his grand plan. His observations over the past few days revealed that the entire prison was like a multi-layer. Each layer was a different zone. He speculated the prison was underground, and found surprisingly inside the isolation room. The metal floor was supposed to be anchored were instead held with steel nails, which in this damp environment rusted easily, creating an opportunity. By slathering toothpaste on the metal piece, he could focus isolation room heat on steel nails. This way, the heated nails would expand and loosen. If he kept moving up through the below space, he'd have an 80% chance of success. The priority was to return to the isolation room. Though hellish, it paled compared to outside freedom. Uncle Wa initiated some drama, walking up to his nemesis and activating his trash-talking mode, turning the scene into chaos. The scene turned chaotic in an instant, and at that moment, Uncle Long discreetly tucked away a piece of bread and jumped into the fray without hesitation. Shortly after, the troublemakers were subdued by the guards and sent to the isolation room, while Uncle Long pulled out the metal piece. He started crazily working on the steel nails, and as expected, they expanded and popped open. Uncle Long immediately pried them out with the metal piece. After all the steel nails were out, he signaled Uncle Wa and stuffed the piece of bread into his mouth. At this time, everyone's attention turned to Uncle Wa, who began to shout loudly at the surveillance camera. Little did they know that Uncle Long's surveillance was held by a bread crab, while Uncle Wa cried out louder, looking utterly distressed. Uncle Wa anxiously mumbled something, successfully drawing the warden over to see what was going on. I have to say, Uncle Wa's acting skills were a masterpiece, while Uncle Long sneakily slipped into the underground. However, after he went down, he was bewildered to find that the side door was tightly locked, so he had to give up and look for another way out. He found a pipe leading upward and immediately didn't waste a moment, climbing up desperately, only to accidentally snap a wire. The immense electric shock nearly sent him flying, and then the water valve next to him suddenly burst, gushing out like a fountain. In a crisis, Uncle Long desperately climbed, thinking, if I get up, I can escape. But to his surprise, just as he poked his head out, he froze in place. He seemed to be trapped on a massive yacht sailing on an unknown sea, and there were police officers patrolling the deck. Escaping from here was simply wishful thinking. Helpless, Uncle Long turned back but slid due to overwhelming water pressure. Luckily, the area below was already flooded. Uncle Long wasn't hurt and quickly swam back with the current. Meanwhile, the isolation room was flooding too, and all the prisoners began to go wild. The warden ordered to transfer the prisoners back to their cells. Just in the nick of time, Uncle Long returned. He quickly covered the hole, managing to close only one steel nail before the guards rushed in. As he left, he secretly removed the monitoring device's spread cover, not realizing the warden was checking the malfunction. To his surprise, he found 4 steel nails in Uncle Long's room, unsettling him. Worse, the betraying colleague called then. Not only did he spill all the beans about Uncle Long's identity, but he also hoped for a generous reward from the warden to keep Uncle Long locked up forever. After the job was done, he promised to bring in the media to help boost the prison's profile. The warden immediately agreed and arranged for his men to keep round-the-clock surveillance on Uncle Long to prevent any mischief. As soon as they saw Uncle Long sleeping, they deliberately made loud noises, forcing him to cover his ears and try to shut out the sound. He finally managed to take a nap, but then the guards burst in and beat him up without a word. After days, Uncle Long was exhausted, his mind fuzzy, unable to think of an escape. Sometimes he fainted on the spot. What's worse, every time he was about to break, they would take him to the doctor to forcibly recover from his injuries. As time passed, the warden saw Uncle Long's miserable state and thought he wouldn't be causing any more trouble. Little did he know, this decision would ultimately cost him his life.